Here we are, hitting up events, drinking our way through Chicago beer, and trying not to miss a thing.
Yeah, because, got a cork popped out, boom, it flies like fucking 10 feet. We're like, yeah, let's do it.
You know, all you have to do is add some fruit, stir it up, and ride that milk-shaped wave.
Whenever I see him, I gotta take a photo with the most decorated brewer in Chicago, Jonathan Cutler.
It'll be like the stuff you hear. You ever go to, every time you go to Floyd's, all the music sounds like this. Raw, raw, raw.
Sometimes you want a small beer, but really, you want a big beer.
You gotta take in all those big aromatic hops.
Hey, what are you doing this weekend? Waiting in line for a bottle release?
You should have never been a fad. The black IPA is delicious.
Hey, and welcome to Chicago Beer Pass. I'm Brad Chmielewski,
Brad, what's up, man? I'm Nik White.
and we got a table full of P3 beers right now.
Yeah, man. We are not complete P3 fanboys, but it's close. It's close.
Nick is more than me. This is the most Phase 3 I have ever purchased in my entire life.
Yeah, man. You got 3 of the P3 pills, 3 of the Fest beer, 3 of the Oktoberfest.
Mm-hmm. And then 3 Geos. Well, only 2 now because I was drinking the Geo before we started the show.
What's Geo, the IPA?
It is the West Coast Pills.
Oh, so this is an all lager mix pack.
Yeah.
Lager variety pack, if you will.
This is a great mix pack.
It's gorgeous.
Especially for us because we're doing all these Oktoberfest. And this is our first Fest beer
Yes.
added to the lineup.
Fest beer is usually more of a straw-colored sister beer to the Oktoberfest season.
Right. They're lighter. Let's look at the note. They're crisp. They have a cracker herbal note
Hey,
to
now.
them.
Okay.
Or, as Nick was saying, Schlitz. The original Fest. Well, probably not the original Fest beer.
I've been in my car for like 2 hours, so I have a sip, and I'm like, it tastes like a Fest beer, but then it finishes like a macro lager.
Right.
Yeah, and I couldn't get it out of my head.
But we're drinking out of these obscurity
Oktoberfest mugs?
mugs
Question
that
mark?
I got during Oktoberfest when I was there, but they don't make the beers any more enjoyable. They're
Yeah.
kitschy.
So Brad thinks the beer is affected by the mug, and I'm prone to agree with him in this case. Because, fancy glass makers like Spiegel will tell you, where beer hits your palate and the type of vessel you drink it out of affects the way it tastes.
Right. I don't know. You feel like either your winter season in front of the fire
Yeah.
with this, or you're practicing witchcraft in the woods
Yeah.
with these kind of mugs.
Or you or you bet it all on the Chicago Bears, and now you are residentially challenged.
That's probably the dumbest thing to do.
Now you're unhoused, I think is the phrase.
Yeah, unhoused. You may have to unalive yourself.
Because I mean,
Oh no. But yeah, so we're sipping on this Fest beer first. It's tasty. It's fine.
yeah, but then also, we don't have a gauge. Like, what are we comparing it to?
Right.
Fest beer
so
wise.
I gotta finish this Fest beer, then we can open up some of these Oktoberfests.
Yeah.
I do appreciate the 12-ounce cans. I think there are a lot more 12-ounce cans making a comeback in general, it seems.
Yeah, and they're cute too. I think if we wanted to, we could pull up a quick descriptor from the beer guide on like
On
what
12-ounce cans?
not on 12-ounce cans, Brad. On like what a Fest beer should taste like.
Okay.
I mean, we could do that from the
Hit me with the knowledge.
BJPC styles, right? So what is it? Fest beer.
All right, I'll go into one of these.
Fest beer. So what you want is moderate malty richness, an emphasis on toasty and doughy aromatics, with an impression of sweetness. They got the floral herbal spicy hop thing down. They got that down. Clean lager fermentation character.
Yeah, it's easy drinking. I feel like if you roll up to the bar and you're not sure what to get, especially around this time of the year, and they have a Fest beer, you just kind of get that you have one, and then you're figuring out what you want next.
Yeah. It's supposed to be a showcase of German malts without being too heavy or filling, and you shouldn't notice alcohol.
Okay. Then I just cracked open the Oktoberfest, which this is a solid Oktoberfest.
Yeah.
Maybe a little on the sweeter side, but I think, again, this mug's messing me up.
Throwing the old obscurity under the bus, huh?
I know, yeah. Sorry. But I won't go back. They won't.
I mean, if you're going to Reams, then you go back.
I guess so, yeah. Everyone talks about Reams.
Not, right. Yeah.
It's that good?
It's the real deal.
It's the Reams,
I mean, for stuff
Reams
that
deal.
it's for stuff that you get and take home to grill. It's just a very high quality meat.
Okay.
Yeah.
I always feel like I am someone who doesn't necessarily want to spend that much on something that I could mess up.
Fair. Yeah.
I'm gonna
Yeah.
go somewhere that maybe has Reams meat, or someone that had back in the day, Stiegel's Farm was like
Oh yeah.
the hard thing to get or special thing to get, and now it's kind of everywhere. But yeah, digging this Oktoberfest. I think it fits right in the kind of middle of the road Oktoberfest that we've had so far.
I don't know. It kind of tastes like Schlitz a little bit to me. No, I'm joking. But yeah, you're right. I don't think it's. Is it the Old Irving or even the New Glarus one? No.
Okay.
But it doesn't. What's the word? I'm looking for a reason to not like it, and I don't have that reason.
Yeah.
Oftentimes these lagers are so subtle with their with these notes that you're just looking for a reason to not like it.
Yeah, and coming from a crew like Phase 3, which is kind of known for these, I don't know, big hoppy beers or
and
hazy stuff.
And pastry stouts and fucking smoothie sours, right?
Right, to tone it all down to do a fest beer and Oktoberfest. All right, yeah.
That's true. Yeah. You got to appreciate the range,
Nice. All right. So we're going to sip on these. This week, Nick made it to some spots, and I stayed home and cried in my glass. I drank my own tears because I didn't make it anywhere.
But round of applause, pat on the back because you got after it the other week. So
I'm gonna go hard this weekend. I'm gonna go out there again.
So I made it to a few stops, man. I went to the other side of town. First stop was Motor Row, so that's South Loop basically. Went down to Junior Fermenta / Modern Dune.
Okay.
So Modern Dune, of course, is the clean beers, and then Junior Fermenta is the natural winery / brewery.
Oh, so they do wines.
They're doing wines now.
Oh,
you can get a $12 pour of natty wine if you want at the old Junior
That's what
Fermenta.
they're calling it, natty wine. Schlitz and natty out of your mind today. I don't know.
You can get Nat. You get that Nat wine. Au Natural. Yeah, well, they were always doing co-fermented stuff, right?
Yeah.
I think the guy he brewed. I want to say at Two Brothers, definitely at Lagunitas. And he wanted a departure from that. He was tired of making those Tony McGee's hoppy beers. So he started doing your Fermenta in the old Motor Row Brewing space. RIP to those guys. We had Frank on the show.
Yeah.
Certified lead building. I get excited about spaces that were breweries, and then the tenant changes, and it's still a brewery. This makes my heart sing, Brad.
Okay.
So I like going there saying, oh, man, you guys are still brewing in this joint.
Yeah.
That's cool. So this is like 23rd and Michigan. Yeah, right down there by where the DePaul Blue Demons play, that arena. Right by McCormick
Wintrust?
Wintrust Arena and McCormick Place.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, this is like walking distance from that stuff.
Sky Play there, right?
That's right. Where's Chicago Sky play?
Okay.
Yeah.
And it's multi-floors or no?
There's 3 floors.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So you walk in, and there's the brew house is on the first floor, but in front of the brew house is this tap room. I would say you could see no more than 20 people in this tap room.
Okay.
Tiny. Maybe 10 around the bar, maybe 10 in the other seats.
Okay.
So super tiny tap room, but you go upstairs, and there's a full bar with like bench seats, which we never see. Mm-hmm. I only remember from the Motor Row days. And then you go to the 3rd floor, and there's like a concert venue / event space. So they got 3 floors.
Nice.
Yeah. Super tiny old elevator, though, like the kind that's in an old folks' home. Oh. Slow-ass elevator.
Okay.
One of those.
Not like the chairlift on the side of a stair.
Oh, no. Like where...
a real, you could stand.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's We were talking about Is Was last week.
Okay.
And then, Is Was is focused on saisons. These boys are focused on farmhouse ales that they co-ferment with wine grapes.
Oh, cool.
I think the one I had was like a Cabernet Franc, which is like a black grape.
Interesting.
Compared to like, I don't know, whatever the regular Cabernet grape is, probably purple or red. I don't fucking know. I'm not super into wine.
Okay.
But how farmhouse ales, farmhouse is a broad category, right? Because I think farmhouse really kind of refers to, or even saison. Saison is just French for season. So these fucking farmers, whatever they had, the growing, that's what they put in their beer.
Right.
So, but it had these kind of funky, acidic, and sometimes, this wide range of flavors that some can be perceived as wine flavors. So they kind of take this beer that kind of has the essence of some wine flavors, and then actually just add straight up wine grapes to it, and there you go. So Vineyard Farmhouse Ale is the style.
Oh, that's kind of neat name.
I don't mind it.
Yeah.
I'm like, huh. It took some thought. I like it.
Yeah.
I don't mind it.
How do they? I think about the mixed culture stuff Half Acre was doing for a while.
Yeah, which is
Cultivate.
you talking about keeping it together with the lady. The lady actually is the reason. The lady who started keeping it together, which was their guest brewery. According to them, she's the reason they started doing mixed culture stuff.
Okay.
The Cove.
So are these junior things kind of like that a little bit, or?
That's a fair observation, right? I think the mixed culture thing is like making beers that use a yeast that intentionally sours the beer, right? So then you almost have to have a different space for that versus your clean beers.
Okay.
Versus what Junior's doing is, hey, we want to pick up wine flavors, so we're just going to add and ferment grapes into an actual beer recipe.
Okay.
So it's slightly different. I think they're achieving some similar things, but I think they're technically they might be different processes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but
Makes sense.
but yeah, I think the Cove is probably the closest thing to this that
Okay.
I've seen. And then the Cove would go nuts and just do, hey, we got this Hefeweizen, and we reconditioned it on like coconut, and then we sat it in a neutral wine barrel.
Yeah, and Half Acre's not doing that anymore, are they?
I don't think so,
haven't seen it.
because the Cove was
Hot Butcher.
what is now Hot Butcher.
Yeah.
Lincoln was the Cove, and then when they sold it to them, I
Okay.
don't think they do the Cove anymore.
And is there food at Junior?
They do have snacks.
Oh, okay, but not.
Yeah, like chips and like albacore tuna. I'm like, is this in a can, or do you have like
It's just a tuna can. Open yourself.
Is this chicken of the sea? Or is this like some kind of, is this something a little more elevated? I wasn't that curious.
Okay.
I kind of wanted to know.
You just come back to the table. Like, you said get snacks. Here's a can of tuna.
And some fucking,
Fritos.
and some, not even Ritz crackers, just the flat square ones, whatever those are called.
Like
Salt,
club kind of. Or saltines. Just saltines. What they got.
but I don't know.
Pretty sure they're like just leftover Fallout food.
We had a wedding 2 days ago, and this is what,
That's what they had left.
we printed it out on the on the menu. No, but I think, and this is what I was saying, man. Their beers are intentional with like big flavors, and then so drinkable. Like I had a 5% beer. It was called Freya, Freya. I don't know who that is or what that means.
Okay.
But that was the co-fermented beer I had. It was so fucking drinkable, and it just kind of bursted with like this jammy strawberry, and then kind of funky and acidic and kind of sweet. It was actually very good.
Yeah, I haven't made it over there yet. It's one of those spots that.
Oh, like ever?
Yeah.
Okay.
That I think about going to from time to time, and then I just something happens.
Dude, and then it's kind of in a spot. I mean, why are you going to McCormick Place?
Right.
You know what I mean? Like
Auto show.
Yeah.
Maybe a Sky game.
or a Sky Game. It's a place I haven't been to in a couple years. I think what was I gonna say about these boys? Oh, these are some fancy ass beers. They're like $9 a pour, and then you can try some of the natural wines, which I kind of wanted to try, but they were $12 a pour.
Okay.
And I'm like, well, I see. This is why the cat is hard. It's hard to sell beer, but these are, you get around at Junior plus tip, you're over $20 in.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, delicious stuff, and it's in a backdrop worthy of just kind of savoring a beer, fussing over it, and just enjoying the space. I think Junior refers to, this is funny, It refers to a species of deer found in the in the forest of Asgard, and Asgard is where Thor and Loki are from.
Yeah.
So it's not even a real place. I'm like, you got to be a real fucking nerd to name
Sure.
your brewery after an imaginary planet and an imaginary forest.
Imaginary forest, an imaginary planet. Okay.
Yeah, so that's pretty funny. Oh, but they lean into it. So the antlers and shit are the tap handles, and then there's a ton of shrubs and greenery and bright artwork and shit everywhere.
Okay.
A lot of sunlight. I mean, it's a good hang, man. It really is. It's a good hang for like 2 beers.
Nice.
So cheers to them, man. I had a good time over there.
Awesome. And then you went over to another south side spot? Or
Yeah.
South of the city spot?
Well, this is, south side.
yeah.
South side, yeah. 47th in Michigan. So Dunier's on 23rd in Michigan. You go over the expressway, now you're in Bronzeville. Bronzeville down to 47th, and now you're at Turner House.
Okay.
So Turner House is like a family brewery that occupies the Sip and Savor right at the corner of 47th in Michigan. So Sip and Savor is a black-owned coffee shop.
Oh, cool. Okay.
So they struck a deal where the coffee shop closes at 4, and from 4 to like whatever until close, it's the tap room for Turner House.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, so Turner House, I'm not sure where they're from. I assume they're local, but it's a family. You always see like 4 or 5 of these family members back there. They have a lot of portraits of their of their family all through the place, and then they name off all their beers after members of the family.
Like George.
Like Eliza,
Oh.
fucking yeah, Connie, Erlene. I don't know if Erlene is one of them, but yeah.
Bob Jr.
Yeah,
Bob Jr.
you know.
Jr., Bob the Fourth.
Thievin with a PH.
Okay.
Yeah, and I was saying, man, I never actually get to 47th Street. So, of course, I'm at 35th Street because that's where Sox Park is.
Yeah.
And then I go to 53rd because that's Hyde Park. That's downtown Hyde Park. Right. That's basically like Main Street. It's a different world in Hyde Park.
And you got the beach, like the harbor right there at 53rd, right?
Yeah. So, I'm never on 47th.
Yeah.
For anything, really. So, it was actually it was kind of cool to be over there.
Is there other stuff on, like, around the coffee shop?
It's in a building. It's a corner, but it's a building that has other businesses.
Okay.
So there's businesses on 3 corners and then a gas station.
Nice. So are they brewing there?
No, they don't brew at the coffee shop. They actually brew at the old Italy.
Oh.
Downtown. Yeah. So they brew at the second story brewery, which was called I forget what that brewery was called.
Yeah.
But it was a brewery at Italy in Streeterville.
Okay.
Yeah. So basically like across kitty corner to Crushed by Giants. Mm-hmm. So they brew there.
But they don't sell the beer there.
No, because that space is no longer open to the public. So I think they lease the space to brew there. But that place does have a tap room.
Right.
So I'm kind of curious to know, hey, is there an opportunity to have a satellite tap room for Turner House in the old Italy space? I don't know.
Yeah.
Because Italy's alive and well, but they did close the brewery a long time ago. Yeah, they closed. They stopped brewing Italy beers.
Yeah.
What was Italy? Italy was like an Italian chef that was a TV chef, and then Sam Calzone from Dogfish that was a collab.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then there was someone else. I thought it was like 3 people.
Oh, some dude from Italy, like some Italian brewery. You're right.
Yeah.
The name escapes me. Yeah.
But
yeah, so Turner House is brewing there.
Wasn't Brooklyn involved in that too? Wasn't 3 brewers, like 1 in each?
Italy, well, the Italian brewer, for sure. Sam Calzone. And definitely the chef. Big redhead guy. I think he ended up getting kicked off TV because he was in some nefarious shit.
Not the BAM guy?
With the ponytail. No, not Emerald. Bam!
Yeah, the other.
He's a New Orleans guy. Bam!
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. So, I forget. But yeah, he was a celebrity chef. He was the 3rd guy.
Yeah. Mario Batali?
Yep.
Yeah.
There you go. There's Brad. Yeah. Mario Batali was the 3rd guy.
Okay.
That's Ely. Yeah. Yeah, man. Ely was a really good space. They had the Teku glasses because the guy from the Italian brewery, he created the Teku glass. It was just a really nice space to be, and it had all windows. On like all 4 walls were windows.
I've never been to the Chicago one. I've been to the New York one and had beer there.
Like an Italian superstore with like 4 restaurants in there, just a giant space with a bunch of cool imported goods.
Yeah.
And places to eat.
Yeah, we didn't. I think when we went to the New York one, we want a beer, and then we just didn't know where to go eat, and we're like, well, let's just get a sandwich here.
Yeah. Pastry shop on the first floor is a pretty chill spot. Yeah, so that's where Turner House is brewing. So Turner House has, I would say, American style beers. The only Turner House beer that I really, really, really dug was their collab with Uncle Nearest, and it was called like it was made in honor of the Uncle Nearest master distiller, who's a woman. So it was like had something to do with like the Queen's Court or something. It was like a
Okay.
I think it was a Caribbean stout aged in Uncle Nearest barrels.
Oh.
That beer is really fun. I think they do. They have fun with a lot of adjuncts. I think they have like a grapefruit wheat beer and a couple other items. Oh, but I was going because there was they were hosting other breweries for a tap takeover.
Okay.
Just kind of celebrating black breweries. So that's why I went, because they had like 8 different beers on draft from other folks. Moors, Funky Town.
It was like, was it Black Brewer Day?
It was National Black Brewers Day.
Yesterday.
So the National Black Brewers Association, which is kind of like a guild that kind of promotes training black people to make beer.
Okay.
And then I think also they have like scholarship programs, but then they also like promote the agenda of black breweries, because I think sometimes their voice gets lost in the shuffle of like major state breweries.
Okay.
I think that's the gist of it, right? So it was a celebration of that.
Sure. Cool.
So
Neat.
it was a good hang.
Yeah.
It was a good hang.
I know you've mentioned them a couple times, and I've heard them pop up, but I haven't been there either.
Yeah, I think it was funny. I saw Chet Brett there
That night?
that night.
Oh,
So
okay.
Chet Brett, all 6'8" of him, wearing these. Not only is he 6'9", 6'10", he's wearing the brightest colors of anybody in the room.
Right. Yeah.
And I saw Chris, who owns Imperial Oak. Imperial Oak's got 2 locations. One in
One at the hockey rink.
the hockey rink.
Oh, that's not Imperial Oak.
What hockey rink? I don't know the hockey rink.
You went to the ice skating rink.
No, one used to be Brixie's.
Oh.
And like Lions?
Oh, that's right.
And then the other one is right off the expressway by that UPS off 55.
Oh.
So he's got 2 Willow Springs. One's Willow Springs and one is near Milk Money. Where was Milk Money?
Milk Money's closed?
No, but where was
Oh.
Milk Money? It's near that.
Where is Milk Money?
It's in one of those Brookfield or something like that.
Farther than Brookfield,
Okay.
because I've been there.
I can see the water tower.
It's not that far from Buckle Down.
Exactly. So you're out that way.
Yeah.
Buckle Down's Lions. So Brixie's is now Imperial Oak. So Imperial Oak has 2 locations.
Okay.
So I've been knowing Chris for a long time, because we used to take the brew bus to Brixie's.
Okay.
I have no idea why we would do this, because it's a 4 a.m. bar. They got a 4 a.m. license. Oh, so I'm talking to him at this, at this event at Turner House, and he's like, Nick, because he's like, man, what's fucked up, Nick? Everybody in the suburbs thinks that when you say South Side of Chicago, you're talking about Inglewood. Like the entire South Side is Inglewood.
Okay.
And I'm like, well, no, there's Pilsen, there's Beverly, there's Bronzeville, where we are now. Like there's all these different Hyde Park, there's all these different nuances to the South Side. It's not just this one monolithic thing where everybody's running for their life, right? Because, we're chilling, man. These are cobblestone streets. Chet Breck took the train to 47th Street. You know what I mean?
Sure,
Like, we're
yeah.
chilling hard as fuck. There's a DJ going. There's patio seating. Like, it's just like a very chill vibe,
Yeah.
But I don't think people understand that. And so we started telling these stories about, just our experience on the South Side. And he's like, you know what, man? What made me want to come here, this is Imperial Oak owner. What made me want to come here was I used to deliver 7-Up. And I used to deliver beer in this area. My routes were like, 87th and Western, 95th and Western, and Bronzeville, 47th.
Okay.
And, he ended up working at a store in 47th. And, we started trading stories. And he was like, you know what? One day, a bunch of these hippie white dudes came in and bought up all the Amstel Light and bought up all the Heineken. And I'm like, where the fuck are, I asked the people I'm working with, where are they taking this beer? And they're like, oh, the Grateful Dead's playing at Soldier Field. So they're taking all this beer to resell it at Soldier Field. So then I started telling him this story about Bruce Durr, who's the brewmaster at Tighthead Brewing.
Yeah.
So one day I'm on 30.
Billy?
Not Billy.
Billy's
Billy's the
the
hippie dude. Yeah,
Billy's the owner.
he's the other dude. Billy's like the dude that's always in shades. But Bruce Durr is the head brewer. And one day I'm on 31st Street Beach with my kid, and the Fare Thee Well tour, the Grateful Dead's last tour, is at Soldier Field. So I'm walking, from the beach to the other side, McCormick Place parking lot, so I can party with Sweetwater. There's a Sweetwater party in the parking lot. Oh, so anyway, who sees me walking is fucking Bruce Durr.
Oh, funny.
So Bruce Durr in his giant pickup truck picks me up. He's got this huge lanyard, VIP, all 3 nights. He's telling me all his Grateful Dead stories. And he's like, the reason I got into beer was because of the Grateful Dead. You go to a parking lot at the Dead show, you can drink any beer in the country, in the 80s, 90s. So I'm telling him, like, I learned this about Bruce Durr on the South Side at 31st Street Beach,
Yeah.
So we're trading kind of these kind of stories, which is pretty funny, considering the event we were at.
That's cool.
But, yeah, it was a good hang, man. I drank Funky Town all night.
Oh, okay. You haven't drank Turner House?
I didn't drink any Turner House. Yeah, I didn't drink any Turner House. Caught up with the Moores guys. The Moores guys are done at 18th Street. They're brewing out in Colorado.
Oh.
At a place called Prost.
But they're still selling beer here?
They're selling beer. They're targeting a national audience now. They're targeting Philly and New York and
That's hard.
DC. They're like, man, they were getting these orders in, but they've been on national TV. They're in magazines. I think they were in a point where, remember when we interviewed Sketchbook, and Sketchbook was like, we're having so many issues with Great Central, we'd rather just build another fucking brewery.
Yeah.
Right. So they put in these orders at 18th Street, and there'd be, delay. And they're like, you know what, man? I think we just outgrew the space. And it wasn't anything 18th Street was doing. It's just, there was a lot of fucking beer they were asking for. It wasn't just, Sprinter vans. It was like full on, 18 wheelers, because they're selling beer in these pockets and that people get them.
Yeah.
So, so they were just like, they're excited about their new partnership out in Colorado. Caught up with them.
That's awesome for them. I would have thought that would be even harder than trying to get a foothold in a city or a town. Just being like, we're the brewery here.
Yeah, I think
popping up, just getting people across the country to know who you are. That's amazing.
How does it kind of reminds me of like, I don't know, is it the niche thing? Kind of remember 12% distro? And how, like, they would just carry cool kid brands. So, like, they would sell Mars beer and Off-Color beer in, like, San Francisco.
Sure,
at some fancy-ass restaurants. And, you get a drop here and there. I didn't get to talk long enough, but I wonder if it's like that. Where it's like, yeah, we're in New York, and, it's like a...
but it's a limited...
It's an activation, and, we're going to party for a month kind of thing. So I didn't really get the full details.
So you're always basically just getting people excited. Or, yeah, maybe. We're not saying this
we
is
don't
what they're
know.
doing,
I don't know.
That's an interesting way to do it. Like... We're just dropping beer around the country, kind of like getting people excited for our brand. You can't get it all that often. This is new. It's gone next week.
Because I'm with you. Like, to make that sustainable, you got to actually have boots on the ground in these places.
Right.
And I didn't talk enough to say that they
Otherwise,
don't.
Otherwise, you're like a band.
Yeah.
Like just touring and being like, show up tonight. We're playing at the Subterranean.
We'll be at Sub T. We'll be here for 5 days.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of like that. So
we got a pickup truck of beer. Let's go.
So I'm curious to know how that works for them, because those boys are working. Every time I see them, they're just always in sales mode.
That's cool. Damn. Nice.
Yeah.
Sounds like a good night there.
That was a good hang. Yeah. It was nice to catch up with everybody. I think what did I miss about that? I think, that was about that. I think the guests were Moore's, Funky Town, Black Horizon, and the creators of Harold's Honey Ale at Haymarket.
Oh, yeah.
So that's Sam Ross, who's a brewer at Goose, and then Jay Westbrook, who's kind of a freelancer. I think his handle is Black Beer Baron. So he's got like 3 releases at Sketchbook, and he's got a couple of releases at Haymarket.
Oh, cool. Okay.
So he's kind of, it's kind of a free agent. Yeah, I think he works at Nissan Lounge during the day.
Well, you brought up the Moores leaving 18th Street.
Yeah.
And we heard this rumor that Saint Laurent is leaving Temperance, which I guess I didn't even know they were there.
I didn't either. I knew they were gypsy brewers, right? Because they've been at Beguile, they've been at Microphone.
Right.
I didn't know they were at Temperance.
I didn't even know they were at Microphone. I know they were at, and it's sort of like, I have not even seen one of their beers in a long time.
I think I used to love their beers.
Well, they came in little cans.
They were the little buddy. They came in little buddy cans.
Before Little Buddy. They were the Little Buddies,
they,
18%.
They debuted the little buddy can. They I want to say they were the precursor to Phase 3. So they got to a point where you had to make a decision like, do I want the fresh hazy drop from this is like 2018? Do I want the fresh hazy drop from Saint Laurent like I've been getting, or do I want Sean the Brew who just left more, or do I want his
Yeah.
his hazy drop? And I think they kind of got lost in the shuffle because the minute Phase 3 started coming out with this crazy barrel stuff, I had kind of quit seeking. Personally, I quit seeking Saint Laurent, even though I liked their stuff, and I just kind of the arrival of Phase 3, I think, kind of split that audience a little bit.
Right. And then Hop Butcher now.
Oh, and
being,
yeah.
At the Haymarket, Half Acre spot. Where's Saint Laurent fitting here? What's Saint Laurent offering?
Yeah, and Saint Laurent did have a moment. I think at Microphone they came out, their hazies were in these 765s, these big bottles, the way Microphone used to do it. Yeah, their beers were great.
So apparently they were brewing at Temperance, and now they are looking for a new space. And this could mean many things. That they're like need more space because they're doing so much beer, which I doubt it. I don't see their beer, but maybe they're doing something similar with drops around the country.
Maybe they're selling places and we just don't have eyes on it.
Right.
Yeah.
Then there's also Temperance could be like, we need the space, get out.
Oh yeah, we need to focus on our own beers, or maybe Temperance ran a hard bargain, and whatever they were charging Saint Laurent's like, I think this is past what we are willing to pay.
Yeah. And then the third, which seems crazy, Temperance is shutting down.
There is a rumor floating around that Temperance might be announcing that they're coming to an end. Yeah.
That seems insane to me.
I mean, from a distance, yeah, but I mean, recently in like the last 6 months, they did have some program where you could buy into Temperance. You could like buy stock in the Temperance, and I forget who they use, but it was GoFundMe-esque. It's like, hey, let's raise funds, and in exchange for funds, you become a business owner.
And the last people who did that was where?
Fire Rabbit?
Not Five Rabbit, the Behemoth, not Behemoth.
Nah, that's Floyd's, Three Floyds.
Why am I? The Forbidden Root took over their space.
Oh, Band of Bohemia.
Band of Bohemia
Band of
did that
Bohemia.
Kickstarter GoFundMe for help us open up our upstairs game room.
Yeah, this shit never works. The only time it was real successful, and I think it was a kiss of death to a lot of other breweries, Pipeworks. Pipeworks had a successful GoFundMe. 18th Street had a successful GoFundMe. A lot of people don't know the work.
Sketchbook did too.
Sketchbook did too. With the Pipeworks one,
For them,
the Pipeworks one, they had that money. The money they were looking for, they had it already. They had it, and then they were looking for the public to just kind of give them that amount again, right?
to do other stuff.
Right, but the money to launch, they had seed money to launch.
Mm-hmm.
So their Kickstarter was just kind of like, okay, this ensures that we have everything we need to really make a splash.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I don't think these other places are probably really don't have money at all, and they're actually looking for the money.
Right, and everyone's sort of like, I'm coming in here and buying beer. You want more money to sell me more beer? I got my own stuff to pay for. I'm not here to give you more money.
And some of these places, man, beers are $9 a pour, $8 a pour. Mm-hmm. Beer ain't cheap these days.
It should be. All the ingredients are
At the source.
are cheaper. The source is
Are raw ingredients?
raw ingredients are cheaper because less people are using them with the seltzer category and the cocktails not needing those ingredients. So, but labor and space, all that's more expensive. So
One of the first shows we did on the road, I think, was at Temperance.
Yeah.
It was a
Hopcast, Chicago Beer Pass split night.
Yeah, that's right.
I think there were shotgunning beers involved.
I do remember this. Yeah, we hung out. They had just come off their JBF award. Claudia was there. One of my JBF is this week, so cheers to anybody who went there.
The redhead guy.
Yeah, and Alex Lovingood.
Alex, yeah.
Alex Lovingood becoming a star. A star is born. He was a star. I haven't heard from him in a while, but I think he moved to Iowa. Last time I saw him, we were at FOBAP a few years ago, and he kind of stopped us because we had him on the show.
So it would be, man. I think you're right. The Kickstarter thing. I don't know. Did it not work?
I don't know. I haven't been following it.
But for them to close during COVID, that was the best place to hang out because they had a parking lot. It was basically tailgating.
Yeah.
And then it's like, oh, it was just buy beer. I don't even have to bring. I could bring my own beer, but I just buy it from you, and then.
And also, they partnered with this music event company called Space, so they would throw concerts in their parking lot. And some pretty cool concerts. You know, Big Boy from Outkast. I saw Slick Rick there. I saw KRS-One from BDP was there.
Sure.
I've seen some cool concerts at fucking Temperance, man. So, and there's no other brewery that's doing concerts like that.
Right.
You know? So I would be surprised, but I mean, we don't understand all the logistics, you know. We don't understand the financial setup, so.
But whenever I've been there, it seems busy. It's not very big, so that's like one of the problems with it.
Yeah.
So they can only turn over so much beer. They don't have that much seating, and when winter comes, they lose like half of it.
Yeah. First, temperance. The temperance movement started in Evanston. The temperance movement is ultimately what led to prohibition, and you know whatever that amendment was to be passed. So it's funny, like the first brewery in Evanston since.
Yeah, it'd be the 12th because of the 13th Amendment from San Francisco, aren't they? 13th? No.
No, you're 21st.
21st.
21st Amendment.
20th.
20, yeah, so it had to be the 21st. Yeah.
So it was the 20th Amendment.
But they're calling your brewery Temperance when the temperance movement led to prohibition was actually a pretty stroke of genius. I dig that a lot.
That's why few too.
Few. Oh, because it's named after people don't know that it's named after a woman, Frances E.W.
Right.
But she was a key figure in the temperance movement.
Yeah.
So they're just like kind of thumbing their nose at all these, whatever you call the temperance ladies.
The teetotalers.
This is an old school word right there.
You use thumb your nose.
That's true. I did just say thumb your nose. But, you know, it gave you a reason. I've been to Temperance. I've been to few, you know. It gave me a reason to go to Evanston. Evanston at one point had 3 breweries. Fucking Smiley and Sketchbook and Temperance. And then, you know, Claudia from Goose went to Temperance. One of my favorite images that I brought up JBF because of this. I'm sitting, they're giving out the awards on Saturday morning. And, you know, they're ripping the awards so fast and this winner and this winner. So all the guys are coming down. And there's a line to get your award. So Temperance, which is like their first year of existence, they won a silver medal for English IPA.
Which was possibly Goose's.
Well, the head brewer just came from Goose, who makes, you know, probably the best local version of an English IPA, Goose IPA. Oh, so the way the line is set up, Claudia stops, and she's parallel to the Goose guys. And I'm seeing this because I'm like one row ahead of all of this. And Claudia's like, just kind of waving, like, hi. You know, like, I don't know.
Yeah.
It was actually a pretty cool scene, you know.
So, I don't know if there's any truth to this rumor or if, well, we know Saint Laurent is looking for a spot. What that means, it means a lot of stuff. But either we're breaking news here or we're spreading rumors.
You know, we speculate wildly, Brad.
Yeah.
You know, this is kind of our thing, you know.
I guess so. You mentioned Goose. I saw a thing that Honkers is coming out.
That's right. It sounds like, well, Honkers has been on draft a lot at both locations, Salt Shed and Fulton.
Okay.
But I think Honkers is officially in cans again now.
Right.
Well, I don't think it was ever in cans. It's in production again.
So this is exciting.
Packaging.
And also worried. Like, you know, Honkers is a great beer.
Yeah.
If we can have Honkers at home, that's amazing. Goose is often slow to the trends, right? So as like has this like old man beer trend kind of like pick back up.
Yeah.
Is Honkers coming into cans mean like we're about to transition away from these like pilsners and lagers and premium lagers?
Oh, you mean we might be headed full back into the mild ale porters?
Or are we going back to just West Coast IPAs now? Like if we're going to be paying $9, I want to taste it.
You want a double IPA. You want fucking Arrogant Bastard.
Right.
I mean, because how long ago was that era? You know, that's
kind of I almost what got me into, or as I was getting into craft beer
Yeah.
more so, was this like big IPA.
It's like 08, 07, maybe earlier,
Yeah.
or 08, 09, something like that. I would welcome it, because I would think 2010-ish is when I started drinking pretty heavy. And it was those Portland, it was all the West Coast stuff.
Right.
Portland and Cali and Seattle and, all those guys. And they were all making malt bills, like there's bone dry malt bills where you put these crazy hops on top and it just exploded.
Because even this Geo is a West Coast Pilsner. It's basically a hoppy Pilsner.
Yeah.
It's kind of great. It kind of hits that both like, oh, I want something, it's 5.5, but has a lot of flavor.
It almost does, the same sensation as what hop water is doing for you. Like,
Right.
It's getting out of the way and letting you just enjoy some killer fresh hops, but not in an IPA form.
Yeah.
It's satisfying your IPA itch.
And it's showcasing the hops.
Yes.
Without getting you fucked up.
Right.
Right. Which
Yeah.
that's what the hazies were kind of messing it all up, where they were showcasing different hops. But you're like, man, I can only drink like one of these.
You couldn't pair it with food. It saturated the palate, and then it kind of reminded you of like other things that weren't beer, like cocktails, orange juice, shit like that. And then so the category, it's just like I wouldn't get another one of these. I'm more likely to go get a margarita after this.
Right. So now after a summer of premium lagers and pale or pilsners and all that, Goose coming out with honkers again.
Yeah.
Which is great.
ESB.
Is it too late?
I don't know. I actually kind of dug it just being on draft because whenever I go to Goose, that was one of the first beers I get.
Right.
Because I couldn't get it anywhere else.
Right.
It was kind of a Wisconsin thing, right? I'm in Wisconsin. Let me get Spotted
I
Cow.
better get a honkers. I'm here.
Yeah,
I can't get this.
So for me, me personally, I would be like, I would just I'd keep it on draft.
Right. Because I'm not going to go to Goose Island, either Salt Shed or Fulton, and get a 312.
No, I'm getting Honkers for sure. Honkers is a kind of a special beer because the 25th anniversary of Goose. Their anniversary ale was an imperial version of Honkers. It was 7%. And I remember being there and was talking to one of the brewers, and they were like, "Man, this beer is a pain in the dick to brew because Honkers has like 7 different hops. It's got 4 different malts. Like even though it's a tiny beer, it's like 4% or whatever. It's actually like a pretty complex recipe.
Yeah.
And I think that's part of what makes it fun.
So, I don't know. It's exciting, and then also I'm almost thinking ready for the next phase of what's to come.
Brad's ready for Brad's ready for brown ales.
Brown ales, yeah. Well, it's barrel season coming up here. Once we get through
Oktoberfest,
1,800 more Oktoberfest.
Yeah, barrel age is next. Oh God, help us.
Which Goose just announced. Speaking of them, another Goose or Bourbon County.
Yeah, so they initially, I want to say September-ish, maybe even June, July. They announced the lineup for this Black Friday, and it was 5.
Right, which was like a tight 5. It sounds pretty good.
The return of vanilla. I was most excited about that, and then this new one with Bardstown.
Yeah.
Which I think was a double.
The root beer.
Double.
Burt's root beer.
No, Bardstown. What are you talking about? Bardstown. Bardstown's a
Barks root beer?
No, not No, Bardstown Distillery. Bardstown Distillery. The dude from Maker's Mark left and started Bardstown, which I hear is actually a really nice distillery, like state of the art. So prop, OG, vanilla, this Bardstown thing, and then I'm missing the last one.
There was like a flavored one, right?
Oh yeah, it was macaroon, which could be hit or miss because they know their way around chocolate and coconut, but this is chocolate, coconut, and ginger.
So
it could, who knows?
Right.
So that was the 5.
Right, and now they announced a new one, which kind of makes sense. You basically now have a 6-pack kind of idea.
You think they'll take our idea of
and do a Goose 6-pack of them all?
Just for us, just for the city.
They got stupid boxes for all these.
They got this thing, and this is
bags and boxes.
Yeah, they're so caught up in the branding of their partners that they probably won't do it. Yeah, but they should.
That'd be a fun thing you could buy, or just maybe on the website, or like when you're checking out, like get the 6-pack. Get 'em all.
Yeah. So the sixth one is extended aging, which they're pretty good at. This is technically Bourbon County Rare. This is the third edition of Bourbon County Rare.
Okay.
So
Because they're dropping prop.
they're dropping. Well, Prop is still releasing in bottles. It's one of the five.
Oh, it's one of the five.
Yeah, there was like a Mexican candy pop is this year's Pop.
Oh, okay.
Prop. Yeah, so Prop is still being released, Chicago only variant, but Prop Day is usually the preview where you can try them all, and that's their block party outside of Fulton. Prop Day is being replaced by Rare Day. So they're going to focus on Rare, and it'll be the first chance you can try Bourbon County Rare this year instead of Prop.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I'll take that. This year's Prop is 2 years, double barrel, 2 years in King of Kentucky barrels. So King of Kentucky is a single barrel release from the good folks at Brown Forman. Brown Forman owns Jack Daniels, and they also own Woodford Reserve.
Okay.
So the master distiller from Woodford Reserve, every year he goes and picks out, it's for the last 3 years, he goes and picks out maybe 30 barrels that he thinks are the peak of the program, and then he releases those as single barrel releases for King of Kentucky.
Okay.
Yeah. So King of Kentucky is the barrel they're using for this. So this is a double barrel release. So it sat a year in King of Kentucky barrels. They dumped it and put it in other fresh King of Kentucky barrels.
Oh.
I feel good about this because the other times they've done this with the double barreling part,
Yeah.
the extended aging part, they did this with Weller for their anniversary a few years ago. I really enjoyed that. They did this with the Old Fitzgerald barley wine, which is insane. I think the Old Fitzgerald barley wine for me is the best beer they've made in the last 5 years. Really good there. So this has a chance to be really special release, this Bourbon County Rare. To run back the Rare lineage, I think the very first Rare was like the first $50 bottle of beer. That was Pappy Van Winkle barrels.
That was sweet. It was in like a wooden box.
Yeah.
So that was
Now you got this wooden box. You don't know what to name it. No, that's the second
I
one.
don't know what to name the box.
That's
Old bloxy wood, square wood here.
You're thinking of the second one.
Oh, that was in the box.
Remember the first one
it was a green box.
Green box.
Oh,
Green paper box.
Second one was in
And the second one was in these kind of
square box, woody.
Exactly, and woody. So the first one was Pappy Van Winkle barrels for 2 years. The second one was in Heaven Hill barrels, but they were these Heaven Hill barrels that they lost. Heaven Hill lost these barrels. So you got these 30.
They found them at Goose.
They found them. They're like, what the fuck are these barrels? And they're like, oh, these are special barrels. Let's sell them at Goose. And that was the story. So that was Rare Part 2, and this is Rare Part 3.
Okay.
Yeah. So KOK. We'll see.
Fun.
It's got a chance to be good. I'm holding out. I'm not gonna get too excited.
Okay. And then we have Deep Woods, which I grabbed. We could crack this open.
Okay.
This isn't part of the release, but we got the lineup of the new Deep Woods stuff, right?
Yeah. Deep Woods 2024.
It is all the alphabetical letters. It's Scrabble Deep Woods.
Is that what it is? I'm pulling up, I was gonna pull up the
Yeah, the first or this latest, or I guess this is the first release of the season, is going to be October 18th. So a week from today when we're recording this.
Let's go to Raz's website and see what these releases are.
And the first release is the kind of the classic. It's Death Star, Cafe Death, or Death Star, Cafe Death. There is I'm blanking on it as Nick pulls it up, but it's those two mainstays that you always see every year.
Yeah, D-Star.
Cafe Death.
I don't see that one, Brad. You know what I see? I see the fancy ones.
Oh, you want to see the fancy ones? Well, there's a event on Facebook for next weekend, or next Friday on the 18th. So that's.
Oh, you're talking about Bramble.
Oh, Bramble. Yeah, Bramble's next. There's 4 on October 18th, but anyway, what are the crazy fancy ones then?
The fancy ones are in the 19.2 ounce cans, and it's the 2010 variant collection. So let's see here. You've got On and On Part 3, a VSO version of On and On Part 3 is what that's called. So that's a double barrel aged stout. Then you've got DBXOD Le François.
Okay.
Which is in a stout aged in bourbon barrels. And then you got DBVSOJ Barley Winery. Double barrel VSOJ sounds pretty good.
Okay.
Yeah. They're getting out of hand. I love Revolution. You know, I can walk to it. It's one of my favorite breweries. These letters are driving me nuts.
Right. So this one we have is the classic strawberry jacket, or STRAWBERRY jacket.
BANANAS.
And this one's from
Let me kill this.
2019. So I have no idea how this one's gonna taste, but
This I drafted them in FOBAP. They took silver this
for
year.
that one,
Yeah, I mean, I knew I drafted. I had the first pick.
Oh.
My first pick was Revolution. I had
but
the first
it
pick
wasn't
overall.
strawberry jacket.
No, but that they took a gold that year for Strawberry Jacket.
It still kind of smells like strawberry,
It
right?
does, yeah.
Like strawberries that were in your basement.
Because, you know, people have strawberries, and that's where they keep the strawberry preserves, maybe.
Yeah, you go down and get jam
you got-
from the shelf next to the washer and dryer.
It does. It's jammy. It is definitely jammy. That double barrel XOD is a 3-year-old blend.
Okay. Ah, that actually tastes better than I expected it to be after almost 5 years.
Yeah. You know, I'm glad I'm cracking this open because I love being in Chicago where there's Goose and Rev, and their philosophies couldn't be any more different. So Rev will tell you, Goose is telling you the story. Goose is like, we're painting this picture. It's the greatest goddamn beer picture you've ever seen. And it involves our partners and this marriage of wood and beer and all this kind of shit. And it's actually just very scenic.
Okay.
You know, Goose is amazing with this kind of shit. Rev, on the other hand, will tell you in a heartbeat, you know, those are these cool story barrels, right? So King of Kentucky is a good example of that. King of Kentucky is a 16-year-old whiskey. Now, if you let Rev tell the story, Rev's like, listen, 16 years old is awesome if you're tasting the whiskey, but if you have this barrel that has had this liquid in it for 16 years, maybe 75% of it is gone, and that barrel is not as expressive as it should be if you want to put another spirit in it. So the real sweet spot is like a 4-year barrel, a 7-year barrel, you know, like barrels that are actually going to work for you as a brewery, you know. And that's what I love about Rev, because Rev's like, we don't give a fuck about these fancy barrels. We're going to get the barrels that are going to execute on flavor in the beer the best, not tell a cool ass story like Goose is telling.
Yeah.
So I kind of appreciate both sides of this conversation. That's why I brought it up. You know.
I like that. And the ingredients they both choose to use is often very different, where Goose sometimes leans more in that like desserty kind of ingredients, and Rev is more on, like you said, like what's going to complement the beers, and then so sometimes fruit to add to this, like enhance the beer flavor.
Yeah, accent. And they really try to
Not what's going to play fun together as like a fun combo, like macaroon or the chocolate banana, or
yeah. So just two completely different ways of thinking about barrel aged beers. Mm-hmm. And you know, we're in a really good space where we get to enjoy them at kind of the peak of their powers, both crews.
Yeah.
I love it, man. You know, we got 2 newspapers, we got 2 baseball teams.
We still got 2 newspapers?
We do. I mean, I haven't read either one of them, but they do exist. Because when I walk in the dog, I'm like, oh shit, people still get the paper delivered. It's tiny, but you know, like sometimes afternoon edition, people are getting it delivered. I see it on the street when I'm walking, so it's pretty funny.
People don't know how to like unsubscribe to it. So. The paper doesn't have a website that we can unsubscribe.
They're like me. I was trying to cancel some service, and I had to iPostal. And iPostal made me call them between the hours of 9 and 4 in the afternoon to cancel. It's probably like that.
Yeah.
Like, you know.
I don't know. We're just not open.
You can't cancel online. You got to call us. Motherfuckers.
Well, listen, we work newspaper hours, so.
Oh, but yeah. Totally different ways on how to achieve barrel-aged goodness. Mm-hmm. So I'm excited about that.
So as we end Oktoberfest season, barrel stout season is kind of, or barrel beer season, because there's not stouts. This is barley wine.
Yeah, barley wine. You know, you might get some sours,
Scotch ales.
Scotch ales.
Yeah. So we'll end Oktoberfest season, get right into this barrel age season, which is a fun transition. But
You know, we're about to be a whole lot of fucked up. But you know, the weather doesn't cooperate and doesn't love us. So, you know, it's kind of what we do up around these
that
parts.
way there's more accidents in the winter. It's not the ice and snow. It's the
People,
big stouts.
people hopping in their car when they should have sat the fuck down. They should have stayed where they were. That's what that is.
Yeah.
That's funny.
No one's gonna be on their bikes. And they're like, well, I had that strawberry jacket.
Yeah, it's gonna be a long ass winter, man. But this eases the situation.
Yeah.
Yeah. Strawberry jacket's every bit of like 5 years old now, right? Something like that.
Yeah, I can't believe that was 2019. I am kind of shocked. This has basically kind of been in the fridge probably the whole time, besides like moving it to make space at times. But in general, it's a properly cellar.
There you go. Yeah.
So, and it held up well.
I would say so. Yeah. It wasn't I wouldn't say it's like too past its prime.
No, it feels maybe a little old or losing less flavor, but you still get strawberry. You still get jacket.
Yeah, because you know, I'm still getting this jacket. You know? But you know, when it was, I remember it released because this was a summer release. You know how they do.
Oh, that's right.
It was next to Honey Jacket.
Okay.
And but it tasted like a straight up cocktail.
Okay. Yeah.
So now it tastes like barley wine.
Mm-hmm.
It tastes like
with
fruit.
like a hint of strawberry.
Yeah, it's like strawberry jam barley wine. Well, like Honey Jacket, I hated when it came out, but if you drink a Honey Jacket now, it's like these smoky flavors are coming out of it, and it actually I like it better now. Yeah, I hated Honey Jacket. I'm like, barley wine is already sweet. What the fuck? Now you you got honey on your roof and you're putting honey in this sweet ass. Oh, great, that's cool. Yeah, but it's holding up. I agree with you.
Cool. Anything else before we get out of here? Wrap this one up.
I think that's it, man. Shout out to Oktoberfest anniversary happening this weekend.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's always a good one. The Yacht Rockettes will probably be there.
Oh, okay.
They usually close that thing out. Yeah, that's a good party. Dovetail and Beguile to close out festivals.
The summer.
Yeah, close out block party season. Yeah, so, I think that's it, man.
We'll do it. So we'll be back with another episode soon. Take care.
Cheers.